Good afternoon. I'm filming it in the afternoon. Lesson 8, Kylie, who is my cameraman, who runs the iPad for me, wants to say hello.
Hello.
Okay, so lesson 8, we're doing area of trapezoids. What you need to remember is that a trapezoid is a four-sided shape. Normally we think of them looking like this. I told you that I always think of a trapezoid like a trapeze in the circus, and an elephant stands on something like that in the circus. That's how I remember. Trapezoid has four sides, only has one pair of parallel lines. Okay, so a trapezoid can look like that, it can look like that, it can look like that, as long as it has one pair of parallel lines. Okay, four sides, one pair of parallel lines. Okay, so in the first question, they are showing you trapezoids on a graph, like on a piece of graph paper, right? And so if my trapezoid is like this, right, they want you to cut it into a rectangle or a square plus a triangle. So in this case, I cut it here. So I have a square here and a triangle here, right? That's all you have to do in question 1. Figure out how to cut it into a four-sided shape, like a square or a rectangle, plus a triangle. Pause the video, go to question 1. Oh, sorry, I take it back. You have to figure out the area of those trapezoids as well. So for the rectangle or the square, it's very easy. You can just count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. You put a 4 beside the rectangle, right? For the triangle, you got to do a bit of math, but you can do it in your head. So I look at this and I go, it's 1 too high and it's 1 wide. So the height is 2, the base is 1. I know that the formula for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So I go 2 times 1 is 2, and then I cut it in half. So the area of this is 1. The area of this is 4. 4 and 1, the total area is 5. Okay? You got to be able to do this in your head. Count one way, count the other way, multiply them together, cut it in half. Okay? Now go to question 1. Okay, same thing. Question 2, they're showing you a trapezoid that looks like something more like that. So now you're going to cut it into 2 triangles and a rectangle, right? And the triangles are not necessarily the same size. Again, super easy to count your rectangle. If you just count how many across, how many up, multiply them together. 2 this way gives me 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 this way, 2 this way, 1 times 2 is 2, cut it in half because it's triangle, gives me 1, okay? So you should be able to do that easy breezy. Go cut the trapezoids into a square or a rectangle plus 2 triangles, figure out the area for each, add them all together to get the area of the trapezoid. Okay, question 3. We've got a trapezoid on a graph, right? My graph is 1, 2, 3, 4 by 8. So 4 by 8. Okay, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top. And then down 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back up. Okay, that's what you got for question 3. Find the area. Well, you just did it in question 2. So if I were you, I'd cut it into a square. So I've got this piece, and which is 2 by 2, right? Figure that what the area of that is. This is 2 by 2. Cut it in half. 2 times 2, then cut it in half. This is 2 by 2, same thing. Times it together, cut it in half. Add it all up to get the area of that trapezoid. Okay, pause it, go do number 3. Number 4. What is the base of the triangle? What is the area of the trapezoid? Okay? I'm just going to get rid of my, I can join my lines back up. Okay. So they've got rectangle. I didn't even need the graph for this one. Oh, Carrie. All right, rectangle, right? It's got a triangle off to the side. Banged my elbow. It's 4 centimeters this way. It's 2 centimeters this way. And it's 5 centimeters all the way across, right? 5 centimeters. So if I'm going to figure out the area of this, I need the length times the width. So what is the length of this? What is the width of it that way? I multiply it together to get area equals length times width for a rectangle or a square, right? So I substitute in my numbers, I get that. Now, remember, it's centimeters. It's listed in centimeters, so your units will be in centimeters squared. Has to be. Now, the problem is the triangle. Well, if we know the whole thing is 5, and this much is 4, how much is this much? What's left over, right? And the height of the triangle is the height of the rectangle. So I can easily figure out the base and the height. So you're going to take your base measurement, which is 5 less what the rectangle was, and your height measurement, which is the same as the rectangle, multiply it together, cut it in half. Area of a triangle, base times height, divided by 2. Okay? Go solve that one. You're going to solve the rectangle, then solve the triangle, add them both together. Make sure your units are in centimeters squared. Okay? Number 5, find the area of these trapezoids. Don't forget to check the units. Okay, so in the first one, we've got 2.5 meters. We've got one that looks like that, right? And it's 2.5 meters here, 1.5 meters here, and 1 meter here. They have given you all the measurements you need. All the units agree. You don't have to do any converting. They've given you the measurements to be able to figure out this. Remember, length times width. We have length, we have width. Triangle, base times height. Divided by 2, right? They've given us the base, they've given us the height. Multiply them together, cut it in half. Get the area for here, the area for here. The units are meters, so your answer will be in meters squared. Okay, that's A. In B, the units are kilometers. They've given you all the measurements you need. Figure out the rectangle, then figure out the triangle, add them together. Make sure your units are in kilometers squared for B. In C, tricky dickies. They've given us basically, it looks like a house with a tilted roof, okay? They've given us, theirs is on an angle, but I drew it straight. 3.5 centimeters, right? 2 centimeters over here. 28 millimeters. As soon as I said millimeters, you should have realized we got a problem. Millimeters and centimeters. And I think that's all the measurements that's on it. It's hard for me to read it. Okay? So, if this is 3.5 millimeters, what's this? It's exactly the same. If this is 2, this is also 2, right? However, we have a problem here with this 28 millimeters. We can't work with millimeters and centimeters. So do you want to convert this to centimeters or this to millimeters? Makes absolutely no difference to me. Remember, 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter. So that there's only 1 0, so we're only skipping the decimal 1 place. If it were me, I would change it to this to centimeters, but that's just my own preference. So if I was going to change this to centimeters, I'd take the decimal, I'd skip it 1 place, and it would become 2.8 centimeters. If you want to change to millimeters, you're going to take this decimal and move it 1 place, so it'd be 35 millimeters. If you're going to, and you also have to change this one, you have to move it 1 place, but there's nothing there, so add the 0, 20 millimeters. Make sure you do your conversions. Then, length times width, base times height divided by 2, add them both together, and whatever you convert to, remember, if it's centimeters, your answer is centimeters squared. If it's millimeters squared. Your choice. Okay, pause the video, go do number 5. Okay, so we're working towards being able to solve the area of a trapezoid without cutting it up. That's our ultimate goal, okay? So in number 6, we're working on finding a number that's halfway between 2 others. So say we had 2 and 8, okay? What they've done is they go, okay, 2 and 8, and we're walking 1 step in from either end each time. So I'm going to go 1, 3 and 7, 4 and 6, 5 and 5. Okay? So we have found the middle point. Where it matches up is the middle point. And what they want you, what they want you to recognize is that 2 and 8 equal 10. 3 and 7 equal 10. 4 and 6 equal 10. 5 and 5 equal 10. So you know you're constantly walking 1 step in if your answer is always the same, okay? So you're gonna do a question where you have to walk it in and look at how is the number halfway between 5 and 10 related to the sum of the numbers. So the number that's halfway between 5 and 10, what's the relationship between that and the sum? Sum is the answer to an adding question. Well, what's the relationship between 5 and 10? What if the numbers we chose were 3 and 9? We'd have 4 and 8. We'd have 5 and 7. We'd have 6 and 6. Well, 3 and 9 is 12. 4 and 8 is 12. 5 and 7, 12. 6 and 6, 12. 6 is half of 12. So it's always half of whatever the numbers add up to. Okay? Go do question 6 and 7 because you're just going to be walking in each step and showing what they add to. Okay? Okay, question 8. Find the number that's halfway between the 2 numbers using the sum of the numbers. So they give you 3 and 5, right? Well, 3 plus 5 is 8. What is half of 8? 4. That's all you have to do. They give you 2 numbers, add them together, then cut it in half. Okay? Go do question 8. Question 9. Which of the following expressions represents the same number? Okay, so we have half of A plus B. Okay, that could be one number. We have A plus B divided by 2. Okay, well A plus B is the same here and here. And here they want me to take half of it, and here they want me to divide it by 2. But isn't dividing by 2 the same as cutting something in half? The bottom number, the denominator says it is. So I say those 2 are the same. Now we've got B plus A divided by 2. Well, does it matter if it's A plus B or B plus A? Does it matter if it's 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2? Is the answer exactly the same no matter which number comes first? So I say this one's the same. Okay? Now we've got a plus b times 2. Is a plus b times 2 the same thing as a plus b divided by 2? Not at all. It's the exact opposite, actually. So this is not the same. Then we've got a plus b divided by 2. You've heard me say this multiple times. This is how I like to write divided by 2, right? So a plus b divided by 2. A plus b divided by 2. So I say this one, this one, and this one are all the same equation. Okay? Question 10. Draw a rectangle with the same area as the trapezoid, then find the area. So they're showing you a trapezoid like this. Okay, a trapezoid like this, right? And on the grid, they're cutting off this corner. My drawing's crap, as usual, but they're cutting off this corner. And if I could pick this up and rotate it, it would fit into that corner perfectly. And I would have a nice, easy rectangle to figure out the area of, right? I can do that all day long. So what they want you to realize is that if this was on grid paper, it's 3 this way and 4 this way. But it's actually more than 3 this way, but I took that piece off and I filled in the part that was missing, so it actually was all filled in. 3 this way, 4 this way, length times width means that it's 12 units, whatever. They didn't tell me what the unit is, I just know it's 12. Okay? You're going to do the same thing with the other trapezoids. So you're going to find I can't read notes right now. Okay. So you're going to find a corner that you can cut off and move it up to fill in the gap, right? And then you measure the new size of your triangle. So the next one kind of looks the same, right? So I'm going to find a piece of a triangle that I can cut off. So in this case, they're like cutting that piece off, turning it, and it ends up filling in that space, right? So I count how many units my new rectangle is this way, and how many it is this way. And then I can do length times width. Whatever my number is here, if it's 4 and this is 4, then my area is 16. Okay, go do question 10. Okay, question 11. They get a little more complicated as we go in the drawings. So the length of the rectangle BCFE. Okay, so it's a rectangle BCFE. Okay, there is also something that comes off the side. Oh no, it goes like that. Okay. The area of BCF, or the length of BCFE is halfway between the lengths. So if this was the rectangle, the length to there is halfway between the length of this, so they call it bases. Trapezoids have 2 bases, which are the 2 parallel lines. So this is one base, this is the other base. If you can figure out what halfway between the 2 bases are, that will give you the length of the rectangle, which is why we were just figuring out the halfway point between 2 numbers. So if this is 4 and this is 6, I can figure out what the halfway point is by going 4 plus 6 is 10 and then cutting it in half. I found the halfway point between those 2 numbers. So that means the length of this rectangle is 5, right? And the length of the blah, 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 blah. Find the length of the rectangle. So they're going to show you some trapezoids. They'll have a measurement for one base, a measurement for the other base. Add them together, cut it in half, and that gives you the halfway point of the trapezoid. Okay? Go figure out the halfway points of those 3 trapezoids. Okay, number 12. Find the area of these trapezoids by converting them to rectangles with the same length as the number halfway between the bases. Okay, so they're showing me a trapezoid. Okay, I'm going to guess that this is 6 and this is 8. It's actually not, I don't think. No, it's not even close. But to figure out the area, I have to figure out what is halfway between 6 and 8. Well, sometimes you're just going to know. 7 is halfway between 6 and 8. But I could add them together. 6 and 8 is 14. Halfway is 7. So the halfway point is 7. So my length is going to be 7, right? Now, and it's on graph paper, so they're going to tell me that this is 3, say. That the height is 3. I can count the boxes to see how high it is. So if it's 3 by 7, that means that the area is 21. Okay? So they're going to walk you through that. They're going to ask you, how long is this base? All you have to do is count the boxes. Like, it's going to be on graph paper. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. How long is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You fill in 4 and 6. Then you fill in what's halfway between them. Well, 5 is halfway between them. The height, I count the boxes. I go 1, 2. I got my boxes, right? So and then to figure out the area, so if this is 5, my length is 5, and my height is 2, 5 times 2 is 10. So the area of this is 10. Okay? So go follow the steps. Answer question 12. We're almost there. 13, draw a trapezoid with 2 right angles. Okay, I can do that. Trapezoid, 2 right angles. 1 here, 1 there. Okay, one base is 6 centimeters. All right, got it. The second base is 3 centimeters. Got it, 3 centimeters. The height is 4 centimeters. Find the area. Piece of cake, okay? I gotta figure out what's between 3 and 6. Well, I'm gonna add them together. 3 and 6 is 9. What's halfway between half of 9 would be 4.5. So my length is gonna be 4.5 centimeters. They gave me my height, right? It's already on there. So I'm going to multiply my length by my width and get the area. Okay? And then let me just double check my answer. 16, 18, 4.5 times 4. Yep, I'm good. I did it. And then the last, so go do that question. Then we'll talk about the bonus question and we're done for today. Okay, bonus. How can you find the area of this trapezoid? Use a sketch to explain. It's just straight algebra. So you're not going to be using any numbers. Basically, what we're trying to do is work you towards being able to use the formula, okay? So they're showing you a trapezoid, like a circus one, and this is A, this is B, and this is H, okay? So there's lots of ways you could do it. I'm interested to see how you guys do it, but we could cut it into 2 triangles. We could, and a rectangle. We could do what we've just learned and find the midpoint. So A plus B divided by 2 would give us the midpoint, right? And then times H. Order of operations means we're all good because we have to solve this first. Then we divide it by 2 because multiplying and dividing come in the order they come. Dividing doesn't come before multiplying or vice versa. So I can just go A plus B divided by 2 times H. I